And yeah, we're at 7:30. Everything's running behind.
That's because we can't tell time either.
Yeah, so somebody was supposed to stop by at 7 o'clock. They're in the area. If you follow us on Instagram or on Twitter, you know that Scott Snyder from time to time stops by the shop. So he was running late, so we pushed the show. We were going to ask him if he wanted to be on. If he came in at about 7, see if he'd stick around. But he said now he can't make it till 8. So we'll probably be ending the show early and he won't be on the show, but we'll see. It's a short week, luckily. There's not a huge FOC to go through. So I wanted to show a couple of things just in case you all didn't know. The shop also sells Magic the Gathering. We have mystery booster convention boxes. We have well over 2 million cards. So if you're making your decks, we're on TCG Player. We're a pro dealer on TCG, so you can be guaranteed that you're going to get your cards in good condition and on time. But if you're in Port Jervis, you can stop by and pick up all your Magic needs there too. Some stuff we picked up, some comics. I always like to show off some of the stuff we got now. I bought this collection, and it was in the collection that had the big books I showed 2 weeks ago or last week or whatever I did. A couple weeks ago. And I never got a chance to go through the rest of the box and look everything up. Those books I knew the second that I had them, that they were there. But although in really horrible condition, we have Jaguar #1. This is early Silver Age, like really early. It's a 10-cent book. So, but it has the code on it, the comics code. So this is probably 1958, 1957, 1958. Oh, hello. Who's watching?
Oh, and Archie Comics too.
I seen it come up, but I didn't see it here. That's weird. My chat must be behind. And then yeah, some Richie Rich. We got #4. Oh, hey Ed. Thanks for tuning in, brother. So we got #4, Richie Rich. In mint condition, this book's for $1,000. This is not a mint copy, but this is probably a $200 to $400 book, pressed and cleaned. We'll see. We'll see where we get. #7, Richie Rich. Books for like $9.50. This one's in actually a little bit better condition than the other one, but you know, it's got that problems. It's comic code, so it's 1957, 1958, somewhere in that neighborhood. Sweet books, yeah. And man, I had no idea Richie Rich was worth that much.
No, I didn't either.
GI Combat.
Ah, the old school.
Yeah,
DC.
#76. This is all. This is like a $450 book in mint condition. This is like a 2 or a 3. It's got a lot of issues, front and back, staining, wet, but really cool cover.
Yeah, that's great. That's well, they don't do war comics anymore.
No more
DC
war
used
comics.
to have some of the best work in Sergeant Rock, or Army at War.
Unknown Worlds #1.
Wow.
Yeah, these are all super early Silver Age. Sadly, no Golden Age, but sorry about all the glare from the plastic. This one has a lot of issues. Down here, you can't really see it through there, but the first like 10 pages are all folded under and in there, and there's a lot of chipping and foxing down at the bottom. Probably a 3. Cleaned and pressed, probably a 3.5. Journey into Mystery 61. Early Marvel. Actually, this may be Atlas.
Is that before Thor?
This is before Thor.
Oh.
This is a pre-Thor book. Yeah.
Very cool. And they're not in bad shape. I mean, they're worn,
No,
but
they're
they're
worn.
obviously they were red. You know, I think nobody was collecting them.
Too bad the Jaguar #1 didn't look like this Jaguar. I think this is like they aren't numbered. I think it's #7. Man, the color on this, it has some problems down the spine, but like I wish #1 was in this kind of condition.
But still in relatively good shape.
All the corners are sharp.
60-year-old book.
Yeah.
Not bad.
So originally, I didn't realize this was Showcase. When I looked at it, I was like, oh, Rip Hunter, what? I was like, oh, wait a second, that's
Heroes
DC
tomorrow.
Showcase. DC Showcase. This is like a $500 or $600 book.
Jeez.
In this condition, probably $300, $200 or $300. Yeah, this is a pretty. And then another book that I was like, oh, the Atom. Yeah, the Atom's cool. But no, it's not the Atom. It's Showcase, where Atom first appeared. This is not his first appearance. This is the Atom's second appearance. And this is like a $1,000 book in mint. This is nowhere near mint. This is like a 2. Cleaned and pressed. Maybe it may. I would hope to get a 3. So like a $100 book.
Still a cool piece of comic history.
Yeah, and then here's the first appearance of Anthro in Showcase. And then he had his own book, Kubert did for a while. So there's some cool stuff we got in. Also, I'm going to be doing a comparison show on Bags Unlimited against BCW. You guys know I'm having a little bit of war with BCW. It's not really a war. I'm not doing business with them anymore, and they're not doing business with us anymore.
Probably for the best.
Definitely for the best. But what's good about it is I found this other company, Bags Unlimited. They're 1-day ship. They take 6 days to pick, though. So, like, when you put the order in...
So it's like 7 days.
It's like 7 days to get it. Even though it does, from when the time they say it's shipped to the time I get it, it's 1 day. But it takes them 6 days to pick it. So I don't know if these are 2 guys in their garage. Or like...
Probably is a smaller business.
Yeah, smaller business. But their products are awesome. Because... I talked about we do Magic and
support the little guy too.
Yeah, we also do. So we also do video games, retro cartridge games, and they have all these really nice plastic holders for them. So I just bought a bunch of those. I've been having a hard time finding comic book. Got some frames over there. Yeah, to your left over there, over your left shoulder. They got some comic frames.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and. Grab them. They come matted and everything. This is another product they have that I can't get through BCW at this price.
That's nice too.
Yeah, so you get 5 of them in a package for $135, or they're like I think that's like 35 or 40 bucks a piece, something like that. No, not even. If there's 5, they're not even 40 bucks a piece. They're like
Don't
28.
ask me to do math
Yeah.
on the fly.
So, yeah, this is a really good deal. But if I don't sell them, I'm just going to put comics in them and put them up on my wall, right? Whenever I have people come by, like Scott and Sean will be here on Wednesday. Just a reminder, anybody who wants to come down on Wednesday, if you don't, contact us through Facebook, pre-order your book. You don't have to give us any money. I trust people. I'm still one of those people that still trust people. So, yeah, stick around. Pick those up. Oh, where is my chat?
On the screen?
Yeah, I don't know how to get the chat up. That's the. I'm an old man. This is crazy. I know that's on the screen, but I can't. I can barely.
We also
read
do
it.
comedy.
I can read the super cool part because it's in white, but the
Uh-huh.
blue I can't see the blue.
Oh.
But I know that's still Ed. So.
Okay, don't feel bad. I can't see the blue.
Yeah.
All right. You moving on to
Yeah,
FOC?
that's Scott Snyder just hit me up. He wanted to know if I wanted him to tweet any of our posts. So I said sure. I'm just going to tell him we have our live show up now.
Who's coming in still?
I don't know.
Maybe.
All right. Talk amongst yourselves.
Tweet. I'll give you a subject to talk about yourselves about. That's probably not a good idea.
I'm sorry about that. But let's get in the FOC. It is really short this week. This has been a good book. Ken's been reading this book. I haven't had a chance to. I brought it in because it looked really cool. What's the concept?
Well, it's Greg Rucka.
Yeah,
He's not writing it or anything, but I guess it's something he's presenting through image. It's a story. I mean, basically, it takes place in like the Middle Ages, and the main character, whose name God I can't remember, but she's Muslim from the House of Wisdom. It's a interesting period piece, especially like for me, like I'm very much into history, and I don't know a lot about the Middle Eastern history, so you get a little about that. But it's a good adventure story, kind of like a Raiders of the Lost Ark, but you know, set in a medieval time period.
Oh, cool.
Really well done too.
Yeah, I just watched a really good YouTube on the history of Afghanistan, and what we just saw recently makes absolute sense if you look at their history. Somebody's been taken over Afghanistan since the beginning of time.
Well, I mean that whole area.
I
Of
think
the
a
world has
century.
been like
I think the longest
warfare.
it's been held by one group is a century.
Oh really?
Yeah,
Huh.
yeah. It's just constant, just waves coming through from all different countries. The Greeks were in there, the Romans were in there, the Mesopotamians, on and on and on and on. It's just crazy how many different groups have owned Afghanistan, because it's got amazingly fertile land and the mountains.
Minerals
And
too.
now I know
Yes, the
exactly
Russians and the
why
Chinese.
Kush. When I was a kid, I called it Kush.
Ah,
What do we got next?
the poppies.
So this for me, I haven't been getting this book in. This is a cover buy. This is issue number 3. I'm only getting this cover. This is Man-Eater's Cursed, but you wouldn't know it because it says Witchcraft for Children.
Which I love the title. I mean,
I love the title.
That's gonna piss off a lot of people.
Yeah, and it looks like the Girl Scouts for witches, right? It's Girl Scouts for witches.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So this for me is a cover buy. So I haven't been selling this because nobody was buying it, but I figured somebody's going to want this cover, so I brought it in. So that's why I'm bringing that in.
Girl Scouts with brooms.
Right. They really clean up.
Oh boy, here we go.
Pum, pum.
These are the jokes,
Yeah.
and we apologize ahead of time.
Jeff Lemire's new book, Primordial. I'm getting every cover. It's Jeff Lemire.
Yeah, it's same team that did Gideon Falls.
Gideon
too.
Falls. It's got that vibe. Look,
Similar,
it looks.
similar.
I think it has something to do with the monkey they sent into space.
Oh, it's about the
Space
about
race.
the animals that we sent into space. They weren't lost. They were like abducted.
Right, something
So,
like that.
Yeah, it's like I guess I don't know. We'll find out, but that's the basic premise.
Yeah.
Of
So
the,
number one's
story.
coming out. Jump on, listen, Jeff Lemire's coming out with a new book. You got to buy number 1 and read it. If it's your thing, you keep up with it. If it's not your thing, at least you have the number 1 and then you can trade it in later or sell it because it'll go up.
Yeah, once the Sweet Tooth's kind of taken off, so I'm sure all his stuff's going to get optioned.
Yeah. And then we can show every cover. I'm not going to make. I love this cover.
That one's a great one.
Yeah. I love this cover. That's why I got all they're all kind of cool in their own way.
Yeah.
And then this one is the last one is I don't think I like is the one I like the least. It's
This one or the one?
no, the next one. That's the last one. Oh, well, then I didn't put it up because I'm not getting the other one. It was very stylized. I may still be getting it. I don't know. I just didn't like it that much. Yeah. So the next book is Scumbag.
Oh,
This
God.
just been selling for
I
me.
love.
I don't
this
sell a lot
book.
of issues, but I don't ever have any left over.
I love this book. I mean,
Yeah.
Austin Powers, if he was a terrible drug addict, then just like an all-around reprobate.
Yeah. And it's Remender.
And we love him. Yeah.
It's Remender.
Yeah. I mean,
I give all Remender stuff a try.
It's very satirical. It pokes fun out of everything. It's a lot of social commentary, but done as a parody. It's funny as hell. It's like a takeoff on like a 70s spy film, like James Bond, except your main character is a scumbag, and he has superpowers because he thought it was heroin that he was injecting himself with, just to give you an idea.
Yeah.
But a great series, good laugh, a great artwork too.
That was going to be my big exclamation point.
Yeah.
Even if you don't like the read, if you're like, the Scumbag thing I don't like too much, just the art is phenomenal. Really, really
Oh
great.
yeah, yeah. Really like the artwork. Well, like I'm saying, I'm having a great time with the story.
Yeah.
It's really it's funny and very irreverent.
What do we got next? House of Lost Horizons. This is number 5. I've had somebody ordering all the way through. It's a Magnola book. I have a guy that just collects Magnola.
Yeah, Magnola's does horror better than anybody, in my opinion. And he's been doing it for, I mean, now it's kind of like a trend, which is not necessarily a bad thing because there's a lot of good horror books coming out. But I mean, he's been doing it for like 20 years or so since Hellboy. A long time, maybe. You know. He did it, you know. He did it before it was a trend.
Right.
And I mean, he's putting out quality books. Even if he's not drawing as much as I would like, he's definitely writing a lot.
Writing a lot.
Yeah.
I like the style that these books are in. This artist is really good, caught it really well.
They all have his kind of flavor to what they're doing, which is cool. It gives it some kind of cohesion. He's got that steampunk. Oh, yeah.
It's that steampunk flavor.
Yeah, right? Definitely. Without a doubt.
Yeah, what do we got? What do we got next? And a Hellboy book, 1957. It's a one-shot. Like I said, I have people that just buy Magnola. So
yeah, he's not. I mean, again, he's writing it. He's not doing the artwork, but still, I mean, filling in the gaps in Hellboy's story, which I mean, yeah, he was around since the 40s, so there's a lot of story you can tell in between there. A lot of good horror stories. It's
always a solid book. It's a one-shot. You don't have to worry about. Am I buying any other books or anything else? What else we got? Bermuda. I'm still trying this book because I like the art. I haven't got a chance to read it. There was some heat on number 1 on like one of the variant covers for number 1. But
yes, I haven't. I haven't really seen much about this.
The art looks good. Not that familiar with the writer, so number 1 probably comes out this week. That's why it's on. You know, we always talk about that. Should give us that 1 week push, but number 1 won't be out till this coming Wednesday. Mm-hmm. So then I'll know if it's any good. But I know there was some people were looking at one of the. Oh, is this number 3? So number 2 should be out this week. So number 1's. I must have sold out of number 1 because I don't remember putting it away. So probably did pretty good. Sonic. I have a Sonic collector. They get both things, and this is a property book. Sonic sells all day long. If I get a Sonic Pop, Funko Pop, it's sold. It like everything I get that Sonic sells. So I just bring in a bunch of it and let it sit. And there's the cover 2.
More
B cover, yeah.
High Republic. Okay. Now this I haven't had a chance to read this. I've read all the other Star Wars ones. Well, the ones that Marvel's doing. I haven't really read the IDW stuff. Everybody I've talked to, my buddy at work, he reads the IDW stuff and he really likes it. In fact, he thinks the High Republic IDW is better than the Marvel High Republic. And this book comes out Wednesday, number 1. It is a new character that's a monster, like kind of a monster hunter Jedi, like maybe a rogue Jedi. So it's like first appearance of the
new character.
Yeah, you never know. Star Wars, they're mining.
They're mining
all the
it like crazy, and they're
they're
purposefully making all these new characters for that reason, for the future of it.
Oh yeah,
and that's why they moved to High Republic. It's like 800 years before Star Wars, right? So then, like, they can go back there and start doing stuff there, and it doesn't mess with
it's so
Star
far,
Wars,
it's so
right?
far
You're not trying to fit it in between, so it actually, that doesn't really work with the story arc and stuff like that.
I think it's easier from a writing perspective because you can pretty much do anything. You're not as limited.
Right.
You're doing stories set in that Star Wars timeline.
Let's go back to Star Wars BC. We've got an idea. We're going to write it.
The Jedi have clubs. They have glowing clubs.
Glowing clubs. They could lift rocks with their minds, just like Skywalker. All right, what do we got after this one? Black Widow. Yeah, that's why we get that cover.
Adam Hughes,
Yep.
He does know how to draw women, that's for sure.
And Adam Hughes covers. There's another Adam Hughes covers later on. I'll point out. I have Adam Hughes collectors. They just want Adam Hughes books. They don't care they're not going to read it. They're just going to put it in plastic and on the wall.
Stare at it.
Right. This particular one is, to me, is very Jenny Frison, or Frison's doing Adam Hughes. I don't know, but
yeah, it does. It does kind of look like
Adam
that.
Hughes usually puts them in a way more provocative position. This is kind of just shooting the gun straight. I like it, but I think he usually has a more interesting composition.
Well, yeah, I mean, smoking cleavage. That's...
Who doesn't love a little smoking cleavage?
Sure,
All right, what's after Black Widow? The Eternals, Thanos Rises. Thanos lost a lot of weight for this cover.
Well, he was young back then, It's before he bulked up.
Ah, maybe this is the young Thanos,
he
right?
He got on those, Thanos Rises.
Right.
So I don't think it's about his breakfast ritual in the morning, but it could be, Here's him shave, because that face has got to be pretty hard to shave with all those rivets and stuff in it.
Yeah, with all the lines in it.
Yeah.
Grooves, maybe he doesn't have to shave. Maybe don't grow hair. His race doesn't grow hair on their face.
Yeah.
But
wow, that's something
imagine
to
when
think
he eats cereal that it just runs down those channels.
Yeah. That's an image I really didn't want right now.
Because I know with just the beard, like I end up with milk in my beard. I'm like, how did I miss my mouth? How did I get milk
from yesterday?
How did I get milk all the way down here? I don't know. But
it's called
Thanos.
a bib.
Yeah, I guess I don't know if he appears in the Eternals, but I think he may get mentioned in the Eternals because he is related.
Well, yeah,
He's a Titan.
Yeah, so there is some kind of crossover between that. So
I think isn't he of a deviant and an Eternal? I think or a Celestial and a deviant.
I don't remember.
I can't remember.
It's been a long time.
We're old men, remember?
Yes.
No comics for old men because we forget what we read. What do we got next? Extreme Carnage. I'm getting all these because they're all going to show up. This is Agony. Scream is definitely in the new Venom, but you don't know. She could be in Venom episode, volume 9.
Well, yeah, that's what it looks like they're trying to set it up for. I know potentially a movie franchise of all Venoms, like a Venomverse.
Right, and then you don't need Tom Hardy. 3 in, you can go over to, hey, we're going to have Toxin is going to be the main character for this.
Yeah, well, and he can, the symbiote can bounce.
Right.
Go somebody else.
Right.
A new character, so it's
well, they changed the. If you saw it in the trailer, they changed the way Carnage gets his.
Oh, I haven't seen the trailer yet.
Haven't seen the trailer? He bites Hardy, and he's like, "Oh, that I've tasted blood before, and that ain't it."
Oh, so he gets infected through the blood.
Yeah.
Huh. Okay.
Through the blood, and then
I don't remember how Carnage became Carnage because I didn't read Spider-Man.
Had a little vial of red. It's come back from space or something. A little that he found, I think.
So Venom is an STD then?
More like an infection. Yeah.
He's a space herpy.
Space herpy. I know in the trailer it shows.
If anybody knows what movie that reference is from, hats off to you.
Yeah, is that Spaceballs?
Ice Pirates.
Ice Pirates.
Ice Pirates. Yes. Remember the guy from what was that, Vegas?
Yes.
That's his probably most embarrassing
Embarrassing
achievement, but I remember it. So there's one of us. There's Ice Pirates. Yeah.
I'll want to see it now.
Yes.
So.
There is a space herpy in Ice Pirates.
All right. So that's Extreme Carnage, and Scotty Young cover. Everybody knows. If you have the Scotty Young Moon Knight one, just recently blew up. It's like $100.
Really? I do not have it.
That's
a good book.
I never liked Scotty Young, so I never collected it. So unless it comes in a collection, I don't have it. Ed's saying he hopes to see the Eternals movie later on this year. Yeah, me too.
Yeah, I'd like to
Fantastic Four life story. These life stories have been doing well for me.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
oh, that's good.
The stories have been really good. So.
And they're also
bring it in.
They've been teasing that they're going to bring them back into the cinematic. Well, actually, bring them into the cinematic universe, which I'd be interested to see because I have yet to see one Fantastic Four movie that I actually liked. I didn't like any of them. There's pieces of a couple of the ones with Jessica Alba
Yeah.
But yeah.
Well, that's because of Jessica Alba.
Well, I wasn't going to go there, but yeah, she's probably is the best part of it. You know?
If you are not familiar with Jessica Alba, go watch what was
Dark
that?
Angel?
Dark Angel.
Yeah, it was a good show.
Great science fiction show. Great premise for a superhero.
Yeah, dystopian future. It would actually.
Awesome.
I'm surprised they haven't tried to remake that because I think now it's actually rings more true than when it came out.
Right. Yeah, I mean,
Oh, somebody
at
actually
least
is that an Ice Pirates reference?
yes, somebody got it.
All right, that's good.
That's.
I don't know whether to compliment you or feel bad for you that we're probably the only two people on the planet that knows who that remembers that movie.
Ed is very up on his trivia nerd knowledge. He's a good man.
Nerd knowledge.
Yeah,
I
nerd
like that.
knowledge.
Yeah.
Nerd knowledge college. That's
Nerd knowledge
Here
college.
we go. We got.
All right,
one.
yeah, you have to trademark that.
Trademark. I
That's
said
the
it
next.
here first.
That's the next YouTube show.
Yeah, I'm just gonna get a YouTube channel where I blurt out ideas, and then they're mine forever.
Yeah.
They're copyrighted for at least 25 years.
So it'll just be like a 25-minute segment of you just yelling out random stuff. Goldilocks and the Three Transformers. It's for children. Who's been sleeping in my garage bay?
Well, I would believe you could get that because, I mean, they have My Little Pony in the Transformers. So,
Do they really?
yes, absolutely.
So
That was a
some-
crossover
wow.
on IDW. No, but that's, I mean, Goldilocks, that's great. So maybe
Goldilocks.
if
Goldilocks gets
Xenoscope, if Xenoscope Comic Book Company gets the license for Transformers, they can do, because they do a Goldilocks.
Oh, really?
Well, they
so
do
they have Goldilocks visit
They do
Cybertron and
yeah.
sleeps in random beds.
Send them
Well, that could be
random
too adult,
garages.
though, maybe. Goldilocks is all grown up and sleeping with robots. We could do the adult version too.
Oh, what do we got after this one?
Roll out.
Iron Man. I got a couple of extra copies because it's an Alex Ross cover.
Yes.
It's just phenomenal. Like every cover he does, just
Yeah, I mean,
bonkers.
you can't really. The guy's like a master of that ultra real comic art.
right.
Probably one of the first to actually really do it.
Oh, there's a button that says live chat.
Oh,
So I
hey,
can
we
watch
learned something new. Science.
Oh.
Iron Man.
This cover I got to remember to order. Now, this cover, they didn't show this cover. On the order form on Diamond, we don't see this cover.
Oh,
Right?
really?
It said, oh, you're coming later. Everywhere on the internet showed it, and on the Previews Guide website, they show it. But like us as dealers trying to order it, it didn't show this cover.
Mhm.
I've got to get this cover.
That's like the take
Miles
up on
Morales-
there's like the Bruce Lee doing the same thing.
Doing the
Like, I
same
think
thing,
Bruce Lee
yeah.
mix and DJ.
It is exactly that. It is
Yeah.
Miles Morales in that Bruce Lee
Which is cool.
mix. Yeah.
That's very cool.
It's a super cool thing. I got to remember to order it if it's not a 1 in 50. It's the Miles Morales 10th anniversary, so I'm pretty sure it's not a
Wow.
ratio variant.
That just blows me away that
Yeah.
he's been around for 10 years already.
Yeah.
Little boy's grown up.
Yep. Kang, gonna keep going with this. People have been interested in it, of course, because of the show. I think I only got the one cover. No, I got two covers. I got the B cover, which is this next one, which I think is. I like this cover a lot.
Yeah, it's very cool.
It's very cool. Got all in under time, but I like this cut. This is like a reworking of the Peach Momoka cover.
This is basically filling in his backstory.
Yeah, it's all the different Kangs. So there's Kang and the full-size Kang, then there's Ram Tut and Immortus, and I can't remember which Kang that other one is. Yeah, I can't remember that one. Because it's not Iron Lad,
Two out of
who is
three.
also Kang.
Really? Okay, so now you lost me in all the.
Yeah, so the Young Avengers, the Iron Lad is Kang.
Oh,
one of the Kangs.
Okay, all
From
right.
one of the
Yeah,
time-
I actually vaguely remember that.
Yeah. What do we got next? The Last Annihilation, Wakanda #1. You know, it's a new #1 from Marvel. We'll check it out, see what it's about.
Yeah, another crossover. because the Annihilation miniseries we talked about it a few times. It's one of the ones I like.
So
but
good, and the art was so good in that
like,
Annihilation.
oh yeah, and a good
The
all,
covers were
all tied
amazing.
in really well together. I don't. This one is I don't know what number Annihilation they are. Yes, it's the last one, but I don't know. I think this is like the third or fourth Annihilation.
Yes,
so
it is. It is.
I don't know who's ever trying
It
to
is.
annihilate the universe.
There was
Kinda,
Annihilation Scourge.
Yeah.
Was another one.
Really?
Yeah, that was like last year or the year before.
Yeah. So,
So-
they're not doing
Hey,
a great
going
job
back to
annihilating.
the House of Ideas, just going back to the well. That's all. It's their idea well, and they can tap into it all they want
And they do.
until there's no more water in the well. What do we got? Marauders. Yeah, people are still reading it. A couple of people anyway. I don't get a lot of these, but I do have a couple of people that are hanging in there because they like the characters. That's that's the sad thing is that even Marvel and DC sometimes they'll do not. They get a certain amount of number of people that like love these characters and they'll read it no matter what they put in it, and forever. And then they're like, oh, we won't have any first appearances, no new costumes, no deaths, nothing. Nothing's going to happen. It's just going to be stories about them fighting the same old villains forever. And
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's always been my problem with ongoing series is how do you keep it fresh and interesting after, well, I mean, Marauders, it's they're fairly newer idea,
right.
but like the whole superhero universe, how many times, what you're saying, like the Annihilation, like how many Annihilations has there been? Like, I mean, I get
How
hats
many
off, it's hard to
crises
come
have
up
there
with.
been?
Well, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's lots of crises every day.
Like they're almost sad that like, hey, we didn't know this was going to be as big as it was, and now we really didn't capitalize enough.
And we don't know what to do
on
with it now.
And now that we've done it, we can't top it. We can't,
Yeah.
whatever. So
But then leave it be then. If you can't do it
Yeah.
any better, then just
you
move
can't
on.
rest on your laurels.
You gotta give us new stuff. We said that like when they launched it with Hickman, great start, and then it just kind of
Right.
spiraled. And well, I don't know. We'll wait for the next relaunch. It'll be here sooner or later, and we'll see what happens from there.
What do we got next? Valkyries. I've gone back onto this. I ended up people come back and started up their pull box again, and Valkyries was on it. So I had cut it, and I had to start getting it and trying to find some back issues now for those people. So yeah, but this is the last issue, so we'll see. I think they'll bring them back again.
Oh, they probably will. And you get
Yep.
the new Thor movie going to be coming out too, so that's
Right.
I'm sure you're going to have at least Valkyrie in it, if not.
Right.
More of them. You probably see a little more, especially you got Jane Foster who's going to take up the hammer.
Right.
So, it's definitely something to watch out for. You never know.
Well, I think they made her a Valkyrie. Jane Foster is a Valkyrie in one of the books.
Oh,
Like
before
after
she gets the hammer
no,
or
after,
afterwards. Oh.
After the hammer goes back to Thor, I think she becomes a Valkyrie. Jane Foster Valkyrie. I think I'm pretty sure that was a short-lived series. What do we got next? Spider-Woman, great cover.
Yeah, really good cover.
I'm sure that all these issues will have more importance when she hits television. So,
this is definitely going into development too, Spider-Woman.
well, supposedly there is a female Spider character coming to the Spider Universe. They don't know which version of Spider-Woman it's going to be, whether it's going to be Silk or any one of the other. Yeah.
Spider-Gwen's
already in Spider-Verse.
Well, yeah, that's true.
So
I'd like to see him when Bendis did the Spider-Woman Age and the Sword.
yeah,
It was like that, like an espionage. I don't know, and then I guess it would become too similar to Black Widow. But
well, it'd be great if you
I thought it was
brought the
cool.
new Black Widow into it, like they could team up.
oh yeah, no,
Right?
that would
So
actually
it's
be a pretty good idea.
Two female Spider, even though, like is she the White Widow or the Red Widow? What do they call the Bellanova?
I think she's the White Widow.
White
I haven't
Widow?
seen the movie yet, so I don't know what they're.
They don't
throwing
have a
in.
name for her, I don't think, in the movie. I think they're just going to have her take over the mantle. I think she's just going to be Black Widow.
Probably.
But it would be cool. Like, so this is Spider-Woman, and she has a spider name, and you could come up with some kind of cool
and
name.
she's
for
an
them. They could
interesting
both be-
character.
Yeah,
If again done right, she's a really good character.
Yeah, and-
to see.
so Black Widow doesn't have any powers. She has minor powers.
Yeah, she's
like,
got the,
didn't she use
the sting
the
thing
sting
she can do.
thing that she
yeah.
does, right?
Well, I think she can crawl up walls and stuff like Spider-Man too. I think she's got, you know, like strength or agility. Like I think she's above human level. I'm not really sure of power levels.
I know it's changed a lot. They've retconned her a bunch.
Yeah, I haven't, like, the Bendis series was the last time I read anything with her in it.
Because I think originally she didn't really have powers, right? It was in the suit. The charges came out of the suit or something. I can't remember. It's been a long time. Yeah. Old man.
The suit's always nice, yeah, depending on who's drawing it.
All right, what do we got next?
Ah, there we go. War of the Bounty Hunters continues.
Yep, the Darth Vader War of the Bounty Hunters book. Everybody knows these Star Wars books. We love them. We'll have them.
Great. If you're a fan and you're not reading them, you're missing out. You really are. They really do justice to it. Especially if everybody's crying about the movies. They don't like this. They don't like that. This is probably close as a good adaptation you're going to get, even if you're one of those crazy super fans.
I like this artist. Good stuff. I don't like this Vader. Yeah, that helmet, something wrong with it.
It's just the pose. He kind of looks like Vader let himself go, you know.
He does look a little. He does look a little chunky.
Overweight. Yeah, he's looking.
But the helmet, doesn't the helmet look wrong? Like it looks something.
He looks like a buck-toothed samurai.
Yeah, something looks wrong.
Still better than I could draw ever, but.
Yeah, but you know we're a review show, so you know, FOC and reviews, so.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah. I don't know. He doesn't look like, to me. He doesn't look menacing. He looks kind of comical.
Yeah.
I got to kill you now. Cut your head off.
So I think I may be getting one of the. Maybe not. We'll see. Am I getting any of the?
But buy the book for the interior because it's really.
So this is the actual Bounty Hunter book. This is the cover for the Bounty Hunter book, which a bunch of different bounty hunters, and I don't know if all those ones have made appearances before. I know obviously the one in the front has.
Yeah, that's the Leia.
Isn't that had Leia dressed up as that? Yeah. But so this may be the actual bounty hunter.
Well, I think it shows you where that armor came from too.
Right.
I think that's the deal with the. I don't know. We'll find out.
So that's number one of that character. What would be cool is if Leia actually lived a life as that bounty hunter for a while. That would be a cool storyline.
It seems like they're gonna.
But maybe have been a female bounty hunter because I don't think that's Leia behind there, but it is obviously a female feature.
Yeah,
face.
Yeah, I think so. But the body kind of lends itself to being female too. Well, it's hard to tell in the picture. Probably an alien, so you know.
And then we got Web of Spider-Man. This is the 5th one, 5 of 5. So. Either a truck's coming through or it's thunder.
No, bassy car.
Bass. Oh.
Someone listen to hip hop.
Somebody listen to a little hip hop. All right. What do we got next? The Trial of Magneto. X-Men's Trial of Magneto. So this is the second trial or third trial of Magneto?
They've been trying him a lot.
I think this is crime.
Well, this is because
crimes, right?
Well, because Scarlet Witch got killed. They killed her off in the comics now.
Yep.
I think that's the first time she's died.
Yeah. So in being her father, I'm sure he's not too happy about it. I don't think he's the one that killed her. So.
Yeah, unless he's going ballistic or she's dead.
Possibly.
Who knows? Yes, but he's on trial again.
Now we know about this Red Sonja, a Perillo cover. Yeah, I got to bring him in because it's a Perillo cover. I haven't been reading it. It's the black, white, and red. This is issue number 3.
Yeah, it's a great.
I just bring in the Perillo covers because you know.
Yeah, he's been doing a lot of Vampirella too.
Yep. And then here's the Adam Hughes cover. This is the second Adam Hughes cover that's coming out this week. This is Vampirverse number 1. He is doing the A cover. Yeah. So remember when we said about his composition, about how he.
Yeah. It's weird too because even this one for Adam Hughes, this doesn't look like Adam Hughes' typical style.
Right.
Like it's reminding me a little more like Jay Lee. Sort of in how it's colored, how it's colored, definitely. Not so much the art style, but the coloring.
Definitely the coloring style.
Yeah. Which
I don't know if he's coloring any of his own work though. So that whoever's coloring it may lend themselves to that more.
He's trying new stuff.
Yeah.
That's
well, that's what we want artists to do, especially if you're a great artist. Like yeah, we love it when you have your own style, but it's awful cool when you can come up with something a little different too. So,
Yeah, definitely cool. Great cover.
Berserker's out. It's the only thing coming out on Boom that 3 weeks from now.
This has been a good series too.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised to find out if it was already optioned.
Oh, it was optioned before it was printed.
Probably
Optioned
it's created by Keanu Reeves, so just on the John Wick movies alone, they're gonna make
One
something
thing
out of
people
it.
have to understand about that, a lot of people say when they talked about King Spawn making 497,000 and they said that Berserker sold 600,000. Berserker was 100% returnable, whereas King Spawn is not returnable. Every copy you buy, you own.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So Berserker probably took back 200 or 300,000 copies of unsold books, would be my guess.
I
only got 10 copies, and it took me 5 weeks to sell 10 copies. I'm in a small market. We've gone through this whole thing before, but we do have a good tourist, enough people coming through our town that a book that's supposedly super, super hot, 10 issues should have sold, but it took about 5 weeks for me to sell 10 copies. So the stores that bought 30,000 of them, so they could get 31 in 1,000 signed by Keanu Reeves, that they were returning a good percentage of them. You just have to have the cash up front to make that investment so you can get those 1 in 1,000 signed. I mean, I just don't see how that's a good business model, right? You get to keep the 1 in 1,000 even though you're returning all the books you bought like that.
Unless there's a limit on what you can return. I don't know how that works. But as far as the book goes, it's definitely...
Yeah, there's the B cover. It's kind of cool. And then there's 2 foil covers. I got both the foil covers, of course. They're an extra $1 to get the foil cover. They get damaged a lot, though, so we'll see. This is Firefly River Run #1. This is one of those property books.
Oh, yeah. This actually
just
has
the brown coats coming every once in a while. Hey, did you get that book in? Yes, here it is in the back bin.
And this has the original
crew is back.
characters.
Yep. Yeah. And I don't know if this is a play on the character River. So I got Eat the Rich. You can put that up there. Here's what I get to see a lot. I'm ordering this. I have no idea what the cover looks like. So it's Eat the Rich second print. So it came out this week and it's in second print already before #2 comes out. So Power Rangers.
Another property book.
Yep.
I mean, again, great artwork.
Go ahead and let them in. Might take a little quick break. We won't end the show. We'll just see if we can't find some filler to play, a little music or something, or a little something else.
Tell some jokes.
Tell some jokes.
Not me. You don't want to hear my jokes. They're bad. All bad.
Hey. How's it going?
Good. What's going on?
We're just doing our live YouTube show.
Say hello?
Absolutely. Well, here's, I did kind of tease that we had a possible special guest.
Hey.
Here he is.
Make room for you.
Yeah, sure.
Come on in.
Scott
Hey.
Snyder, ladies
Scott
and
Snyder.
Great to see you.
Great seeing you, brother.
What's going
God,
on?
thanks for
Great
coming
to
down.
See you too, brother.
This,
Yeah, always.
this is a great timing, too, because we've been talking a couple of weeks in a row about Substacks.
Oh, yeah, sure. Let's do it.
There's, I hate to really put you on the spot. There's a lot.
Take a seat.
Okay.
There's a lot of hatred for subs. A lot of I don't want to say hatred, but there's a lot of like skepticism and all this about it.
Sure.
But the funny thing is that the same people that are kind of hating on this are the people that love Bad Idea, which
Right.
is really not good for the LCSs. I don't see this as a bad thing for the LCSs because it's outside of it's not like, oh, we're only going to give it to a few people.
Oh, yeah.
Right? This is completely outside, and at some point there will be floppies, right?
Oh,
Possibly.
100%. I mean, I think the thing to understand about it, I mean, I'm just doing teaching through it.
Right.
So I have kind of limited scope in terms of what I'm using it for right now. But everybody I know that's on there, and there are a lot of people that they're going to announce over the next 2 months. Every week you'll see more. they really plan on using this grant or this money to make books that then they can put out into the direct market. Nobody is planning on doing books, as far as I know, out of the people I'm friends with who are on there, which is pretty much everybody that's been announced, that isn't using this money to make something that they can offer their subscribers glimpses at digitally for fun.
Right.
And maybe offer exclusive digital delivery too, if there's a way to do that. Some people are going to give the PDF, some people are waiting for a reader, some people are going to just put the book into the newsletter itself. But the idea is that any of those ways then is hopefully going to drive people to the store to buy the physical afterwards, because we retain the ancillary rights in all outside digital for everything, and digital too. You're
But
just choosing to...
It's really 100% creator driven and decision making. Like you can decide, this book, I really don't think that it'll make it in floppies. We'll go to a trade. This book,
100%.
This book really feels like a floppy, and we're going to put it out on floppy.
Well, think about it like this. Like, for me, there are a lot of books that I'd like to do that I know if I gave to you to sell in the direct market would be risky, both financially for you and for me, right? In the way that when you do a creator-owned book through a place like Image, let's say, which, by the way, like I've had lots of conversations with Eric Stevenson at Image. They're excited about Substack because what it means is that a lot of books are going to be produced and then given to publishers like Image for publication for the direct market.
Proven.
And it's been proven, and it has buzz, and on top of it having buzz, there's no financial risk because you got a grant to make the book. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So usually the Image format is that you make the book on your own, you pay for it yourself, you publish it at Image, and then you make they have a great deal for back end for anyone that doesn't know how an Image book works. So ultimately,
probably the best place for a creator to publish their books through.
Well, it depends what you want.
Financially.
Yeah, we 100%. Well, it depends again. Like it's all about what you like. I'm glad I did American Vampire at Vertigo when I did it at Vertigo.
Yeah, that's when Vertigo was around.
Well, and I could never have afforded to do a book at Image at that time. I was nobody, right? And so it's hard. What I'm saying is this: like, think about it like the whole landscape, right? So you got Boom, you have Vault, you have a ton of good places now from all the way down. You have a lot of choices as a creator or creative team what you need. So I might need a page rate because I don't have the dough to pay an artist if I'm new, and a colorist, and a letterer, and an editor. And the other thing to understand is that if you do a book at Image and you're not getting kind of a grant or a page rate, you don't get paid for that book until about 6 months after you make it. So if I'm doing a book with like Tony Daniel or something, right, that means I'm making issue 1, issue 2, issue 3, issue 4, issue 5, issue 6 before I see the money for issue 1. And granted, once the money for issue 1 comes in, if you can wait for the money for issue 1, it's big money because the deal at Image is wonderfully generous in terms of what you make off the issues. But the problem is, if it's an expensive risk, and if COVID comes along again in some way that's going to interrupt or disrupt distribution, if there's a problem with Diamond, or if whatever it is, like you could that's what happened with me. I was making books, deciding where I was going to publish them. I had no commitments to Image or elsewhere, and then COVID hit, and I was suddenly like, how do I even afford these books? And what if I start them again and these people that I'm paying, suddenly I have to lose them to Marvel and DC? And so with Substack, the way to think about Substack, honestly, in terms of if you want to get inside creators' heads, it's all about making books that are going to end up in the direct market. It's a safeguard against the risk you have to take to make books that end up in the direct market for most places that, the other way you can do it is you trade off and you give half the ancillary rights. So a lot of places that are great places, Boom and Aftershock and Vault, and they have different kinds of deals, different deals down the line, where some of them, they take different percentages, Skybound, different aspects of your movie and TV rights, some of which, when I did American Vampire, for example, to be open, I have no control over that. It went totally to DC. I'm still really glad I did it, because it was where I was, but that's what I mean. I wouldn't steer somebody in that position away from that deal at this point in their career if they're where I was then, you know?
Yeah, but as you come down, and your intellectual property is really, you know, I always say it's like an insurance agent who owns a book.
Yeah.
And when he retires, that's really his retirement. He sells that for multi-million dollars.
Oh, sure.
He sells all of his customers to another insurance agent. Your IP is in perpetuity, and your kids can actually, you know, your great grandchildren can make money off of it.
You know,
right?
I
That's
mean,
the hope.
so with what I'm doing with Comixology and those things, I retain all of the IP for those with my co-creators. So the hope or the goal is to put enough things out into the world, and we have an option announcement coming with, you know, Noctera very soon. I have like the stuff that I
You heard it here first.
Yeah. You have the stuff that I've done so far. I'm lucky enough that all of it's been options, you know, witches and whatever, after death, and you know. And so when you put something into the world for option, the option lasts a certain period of time, and then it comes back to you, and you can go out with it again. And so if it's a good property, or a property with a lot of commercial value or whatever, it'll keep getting optioned again. So there's a world in which if you have enough IP out in the world, and no one plays it. I know that, you know, people think like, oh, you're doing your Netflix idea or this idea. You know, you can tell when someone's doing that, but that's not how creators work. Nobody I know does that.
Books that are reverse engineered never
good.
seem to be very good.
Yeah, and so the idea is, I hate even thinking of it as IP. You're making books you love and you trust and whatever. And you'll see when the first of the books, I mean, the We Have Demons and the Clear and Night of the Ghoul are easily some of the best books I've ever been a part of. So I've zero doubt that you'll see that when you read them.
The other thing, genres come around. So like when you made American Vampire, horror now has come into this, and you made Severed, and horror now is really hot right now. So those properties can be like, if you've got good management and good agents, they can take that stuff out there and go, hey, you know, we've already got these stories
some of them waiting. And that's what I'm saying is right now they went out again with Severed recently, you know, because the idea is if you make enough things and have them out in the world, it becomes kind of a circuitry that just keeps going. So it doesn't mean it's security, like you said, it's security. So it doesn't mean you don't want to stop. You want to stop making comics or books or anything, but it means you have more creative freedom. And what Substack is creative freedom for people. Like, do you think Scotty Young isn't going to go to Image with the books that he does and uses that grant to make? I'm not using the grant for those things yet because I have a full slate of books.
Right.
But soon.
But you're offering something that people, when you were teaching it and while you were whatever traveled to take your course, now they don't have to leave their house.
And the money that I'm taking from that, you'll see very soon. We're going to announce this week. This week is the hurricane. I don't think I'll get to do it, but maybe next week. Partnerships with different organizations and comics that provide grants for up-and-coming creators and stuff like that.
That's fantastic.
And I'm going to be able to help publish a couple things through Best Jacket itself by creators that I've taught, creators I'm friends with, that I think are exciting voices in comics coming up.
Are you looking for a publisher for Best Jacket?
I can, no, not exclusively.
No,
right now, I mean, I love working with Dark Horse and Image. I mean, I have the Comixology books at Dark Horse. That I have Noctera at Image, Chain, a book I'm doing in the next coming year at Image, and then we're going to bring back Witches as well, because that also, like, that TV stuff has really picked up, so we really want to get back to it as well. So you know, I mean, that's the thing is, like, you have to think about, you think about Substack however you want. Right. You know what I mean? There are all kinds of arguments. There's the argument also like, are they a bad player? This is the way I feel about that argument, right? They didn't give any pro grants. They give no subsidies to any of the people that people cite as bad players.
Right.
Linehan or Greenwald
EBS.
Right. Well, I mean, nobody is getting money from them.
Right.
They're just platformed, and some people I wish weren't, but they are. Same with Twitter.
Right.
I mean, the biggest culprit in that. But the people they are giving money to, us and people that you haven't seen yet that I think people will be excited about that are going to announce as well, artists and creators from all corners of the industry, are people they're backing financially, and that means they're putting their money behind people at the other end of the spectrum in some ways from the people that were, you know. So the point I'm trying to make is that I know there's that criticism, but if there's a criticism essentially that it's taking something away from the direct market, That is, I mean, like, it's valid and I'll hear it, but what I'm telling you is that creators are thinking about it in the 180 degrees from that, where it's thinking about it essentially as a grant to make books they love.
Yeah.
That are why would you make a book on Substack and then not have it come out in print?
Right. And then
like what would be the strategy of that is what I don't understand. Like, would you do a Kickstarter if, like we did Noctera and then not release Noctera, or would you, because we did it as a director's cut.
Well, I think a lot of people see that there are some books that don't ever come out to the market that are Kickstarted.
Well, that's selling print directly to the Substack can only provide digital display of the book. So,
But I think most of the Kickstarter stuff, like you did something absolutely different. But like a lot of the creators that I know that just can't get their book, like Image won't agree to print it. Everybody said no, and they still believe in it.
Great.
So they're like they take it direct. And I'm all for that.
Me too.
They have, like, if I like it, they usually have a retailer, or if I contact them, they'll have the ability for a retailer to get enough copies and at a discount that I can sell it. And they want creators want their stuff read. This is not a secret society being built.
And that's what I mean. There's no benefit to me. If I make a book on Substack next year, when I'm further along with my Comixology stuff, if I decide to use some of the money in that way to pay an artist to make a book, on what planet do you think that I would make that book, have it only digital on Substack, and never put it out in print? For what reason? Like, what would the thinking of that be? I would literally just be leaving a whole bag of money in a lane open that makes no sense. Like, it's like, well, I'm going to publish these books. The whole purpose of the books at Comixology, for me, was to be able to make things that are cool for digital, that offer digital a different performance. Where, like, I want people to get a subscription to Comixology.
Right.
If you're watching this, get a subscription, because then you get all these books, not just mine, for $4.99 a month.
Right.
And it's called browsing, where it's like, borrow the books.
Right.
They're not yours. You don't download them. You do your thing, but you're essentially you're reading in a library format.
Like a library, yeah.
So you have it. And what that makes you want to do, in my opinion, is then go buy print for the stuff that you
Readers
love.
become collectors.
Readers become collectors.
Why do I have 50-cent boxes?
That's what I'm saying.
So people read comics. Like they say, oh, $4. I won't buy a comic for $4. Well, buy them for 50 cents. They're great stories and the art's amazing.
That's what I'm saying. It's affordability. Everything is subscription now. It doesn't take away. By the way, like I had the option when I was a kid of doing comic book subscriptions all the way back when to have them to my house. You go to the store because it's experiential and communal and it's collected. Like it's tactile. You go there and you want the thing and you want to talk to people about it and all that. You always had the ability to bypass the store. But the beauty of it now is that a deal like the Substack thing, but the Comixology thing, is all about try it out. Come watch what we're making, and then go to the store and buy it. Same philosophy with Comixology. It's get a pass. It would probably benefit me more, by the way, if I tried to show you all the single issues to you and was like, don't get a subscription.
Direct to consumer is like a big business model in today's big business, is that if I can go direct to consumer, I can cut out, Image doesn't really take any money except for their production costs.
Yeah.
But, the other companies cut all them out and I'll get all the money, instead of getting a portion of that, I cut out the comic stores and everything. It's just not realistic for this thing, because the stores we hand sell so much. This is like when somebody comes in and goes, well, I have an extra spot, what should I read? It's the comic shop that says you should be reading this. This is amazing. This is great.
That's the fun of it too.
Yeah.
The comic shop is like your sports bar. It's like your like I want to. When I moved to Long Island before I had these guys. You guys okay over there, by the way? My kids are Tell me when you found what you want.
They're always so well behaved.
They're good. They love this place. They literally, it was like I feel bad. I bothered him on I texted, Facebook, DM.
Yeah, I'm sorry I was sleeping because I work midnights at my regular job.
No, it was I felt like
it's like, oh no, I slept through Scott Snyder's text.
No, I felt bad, Emmett. But the thing is when I moved out to where we live now in Long Island from the city, one of the first things I found was a comic store out there, and this is before I broke into comics, like before. And when we first moved out there, I hated it. My wife was in med school, and I was like, we had one car, and it was like being alone in the condo. We didn't have a lot of money. I mean, all of it was like, and I was trying to be a writer, and the place that I loved going was Fourth World. You know, I went and I was friends with all of them. It's a mom and pop store. Glenn, he then gave it over a few years ago to his son Terrence. The same people worked there that worked there when I was going in, you know, and I remember going in there when I first broke into comics and being like, oh my god, guys, guess what? And so to me, the comic store, maybe I'm old-fashioned, but is that, which is
100%.
It's community, and it's finding new things through people that know and being part of something. The way you don't want to just like, we've recently become really big baseball fans. You know, I've always kind of been half one eye, half out. Right. And then my 10-year-old there wearing the Judge jersey, we just totally fell in love with it. You know, I don't want to just listen to it on the radio.
You want to go see it.
You want to go see it. You want to talk to other people that know it. That's the whole thing. Comics is a culture. So for me, the way that I would think about Substack, I mean, again, I get that it's scary to publishers in some way because it's allowing talent a freedom to go out and make their things without the pressures of needing to be at Marvel or DC.
They don't have them locked down into into exclusive contracts where they can put them from, oh, you're no longer going to be on this, we're going to put you on this book, and you know that getting moved to that book, it's sort of like getting moved in a lineup in baseball.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, I'm the leadoff hitter. Now you're batting seventh.
Right.
You're like, it's like getting moved from, let's say Batman to, like, Justice League's not kind of a sideways move, a little down, not quite sideways, a little bit sideways. But then if you get Aquaman, like, oh, let's see what you can do with Aquaman.
Well, that's the fun. And I think part of it is, I think ultimately it's scary times, but it's really exciting times, like, in my opinion, because
that's what I've been saying. I'm super excited for it.
I wouldn't, I mean, it's the truth. Like, I wouldn't be doing it if I thought it was something that was like, hey, leaving comics to go do Substack. That's not, nobody involved in it is thinking that way. They're thinking, I'm doing this because they're giving me a grant to make books I've always wanted to make. Some huge, big, bombastic books like Donnie and Ryan.
Right.
And then other people that are making books that they wouldn't get to otherwise, like James Tynan, like Blue Book, which will be a commercial success, but I think it has the kind of feel of a conspiracy theory thing that you want to follow on a newsletter and then go tell everybody about and buy it, like a Department of Truth. So for me, I mean, the whole fun of it is that their Substack is being great about saying, here's money, do what you want, use our platform to kind of talk about it, deliver digital to fans if you want, in whatever way you want, make it a place where you can sell t-shirts or pins or things, partner with retailers if you want. And some of us are looking into that right now to do that stuff.
Well, you think about any, like, you created, I'm sure everybody knows, the Quarter Owls.
Yeah.
How much DC has made on Quarter Owls t-shirts and...
I don't get any of that. You know, I mean, they give me, DC is always very nice. Like, I have equity in Quarter Owls, so, I do get a check. It's not huge, but I get a check when they're in the video game, when they're in the TV, Gotham and that stuff.
Gotham.
The thing that's been nice, they've always kept me involved, and they brought me out to see the video game when they were making it and give advice, and so they've always been generous with me in terms of involvement and what they give people for equity. I've like, that said, there's a big difference between getting a check, like Batman Who Laughs, right? Batman, I can't get equity in Batman Who Laughs because he's a derivative character. So you can get, if you don't understand equity, you can get equity in a character sometimes that you make up for a big two company if they don't have if your contracts are after what, like 2010 or 2000? I don't know when it started. Right. I know Paul Levitz was an advocate of it, but it was like when I came in, it was there, and that was like 2009. So, but like if I make Duke Thomas the Signal, right, and he's the Signal and he's something new, then I can get equity in that. But if I say I'm making him because he's Robin, he's Luke Fox's nephew or something, you can't, because that bloodline is already established. So the Batman Who Laughs, I can't get in or James Jr. or that, I can't, because they're part of a genealogy of characters that existed before me.
Great creations, though. I
know, and it sucks because Batman Who Laughs is in Fortnite and all this stuff. I don't But again, they're very nice to me. They send me all the stuff and whatever. But I'm just saying, like, when it comes to that versus being able to say, you know, with some of the stuff I'm working on now, like if the Witches TV stuff goes through, and then you see, like, Jeff Lemire is one of my closest friends, right?
Yeah.
Talking to him about the excitement of seeing Sweet Tooth on Netflix,
So great.
and people,
So great.
you know, that it's just a different thrill, like
Yeah.
to see your thing suddenly penetrate the public consciousness and be out there in the world circulating. That's a different level of thrill. I mean, I'm hugely excited, and my kids like love when they see my stuff in Fortnite or whatever.
Yeah.
Blah, it's great. But being able to see somebody wearing a shirt with your thing that you made up from
Right.
scratch is a whole other level. So
As great as Marvel and DC is for creators, at some point it's limiting, right? They won't let you do certain things that maybe, you know, in your whole, you know, you make this huge arc. Either they're not reading everything, or they're just not paying attention. And at the end of your arc, something's going to happen, and that they decide when you get closer to that arc, we don't really want that to happen.
oh yeah,
And
that
it
happens
blows
all the
up
time.
the whole end of your story, and you have to. That's creative gymnastics now. You have to
Oh, yeah.
create, and then a lot of people are like, "Oh, I don't like the way it ended." Well, that's probably why.
Well, their whole battles over. I mean, you know, there's every arc you've ever read has a history you don't know about in some
Right.
way, whether it was like a good history or a tortured history or whatever. But you know, one of the things I want to do with my class, you know, and subscribe if you haven't on Substacks.
100%.
It's going to be a lot of fun.
If you want to be a writer, period. If you just want to write, and not even comics, just be a writer. This man is taught at NYU. You're getting an amazing class for $7 a month.
And again, I'm using it to help fund
Right.
up and coming creators. So
Right.
I'm making enough for my comicsology and everything stuff.
But,
so.
but really, that's not even 2 comics. Right?
Yeah.
That's
Well,
not even 2 comics a month. And
yeah.
then if you pay, it's $75 for the year, right? So then you're even
Yeah.
saving more money.
Exactly.
Right.
So thank you, Emmett.
No,
The-
it's like if I was a young man, I would definitely be in it because I like telling stories, but I think I'm a little bit over the age. So.
No, you could still do it. That's part of the class. But the fun of it is, one of the things I'm saying is that one of the things I'm teaching in the class is that what I learned really early on was you have to have an incredibly strong sense of what the point of your story is, like what it's about, what your characters,
What motivates
what-
each character?
yeah, and what they learn, like what are you trying to say at the end about them, about the world, about yourself, whatever it is, like
Right.
regardless of what it is. Because if you know that thing really hard, like you have a North Star real locked down, then it becomes a lot easier when they come to you and they say, you have to change the mechanics of how you do it. You get one less issue. Well, you have to use this character. Well, you have to tie into an event. Well, you have to lengthen it. And especially with the big event stuff I did,
Yeah.
that was like, it's like being on an ocean that just doesn't stop like this, where they're like,
Yeah.
actually, we're going to reboot. We're not going to reboot. Oh, well, it's going to be 3 months. No, we need you to tie into 5 months. And you're like, oh. So if you don't know, like, this is the destination that I am landing the plane at after
Right.
this crazy storm I'm flying through, you will wind up, taking a detour. And
I wish
landing
they would
somewhere you
just
don't
have
want.
an Elseworld book. DC
Uh-huh.
would just do an Elseworld book of all the stuff we missed.
Yeah.
Like all
yeah.
the stories that didn't get told because they changed course.
Oh, I mean, I could name so many in my head that I wish did, but there are also great ones that came out because they did do what they did. So
Right.
it's always
Oh, no,
there's always a give and take.
We talk on our show. We really love DC's crossovers. We think they do crossovers way better than Marvel.
Oh.
It's our personal opinion,
Thanks.
but like especially like during your run, like the New 52 was amazing. That
Yeah, it's funny. I really excited about what they have planned now. I feel a couple people asked me. I have no idea, like what this is coming from, but that did I plan on staying longer, or was Death Metal supposed to set things up in some way that I was supposed to stay, and then I decided to leave, and like it couldn't be more the opposite. Like on my kids, where everybody there will tell you, like I said when I was like 10 years, Death Metal is a goodbye. Like clearly, it's
yeah.
like the whole message of it is
death.
well, and the whole message is
ending.
like the way comics, or I hope DC Comics will be, is kind of a marriage of the things that we tried over the 10 years that I was there in these extremes. Like the New 52 had great things about it, but it pushed history away. Rebirth was great in the way that it re-embraced legacy and the past, but it also kind of clung to those in a way that didn't necessarily let things move forward far enough in some ways, you know.
And they gave up on some things. Like when we went to the meeting, Didio said that Nightwing and Cyborg were going to be A-list characters with new villains and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And Cyborg disappeared. They just gave up on him completely.
There was a lot of volatility, but ultimately what Death Metal was saying was we do both. Like the way forward is you embrace the past, but you try bold things like the new, and you know when it's time to say, here are the reins, next generation, and that's what Wonder Woman does. She says, giving this over so that we can have this infinite frontier where everything is possible, everything matters, and now let's make something great. So for me, that was always that kind of like, now I can finally go do my stuff, and especially with Marie installed as the EIC, the editor-in-chief. Right. I mean, she's one of my best friends in the world, and so it couldn't be in better hands. You know, nothing against the people that were there; they are supportive of me, and I'm supportive of them. But the new regime with her, I'm so excited about, and the editors there are great. And so my feeling was always like,
the business guy. I wish he'd put out some because Lunar has done something. Has kind of put some smaller stores like me out in the swinging.
I know that's just for me. I'm learning about all that. That's so out of my wheelhouse.
They're cutting us all the way down to 35%.
I know you. I remember talking to you about it. I mean, I wish I understood. I'm like that. Those decisions more on their part, and what the kind of the thinking and the mechanics of all that is. That was always like that was happening as I was kind of on my way out. So and also there's a pretty big division between the business affairs stuff and creative. So.
Exactly. That's the thing is that I don't think that the business side has kept us enough in the loop.
I hope they do. I mean, I that's one of the things.
Well, I'm a DC fanboy from way back. Everybody's heard me talk about that was me growing up. All my buddies were Marvel guys, and I was a DC guy. So
yeah, man. Well, no, I'm excited for what they have planned, and it's funny because it's just I spent so many years thinking about DC and every aspect, when I was there, especially when I got bigger there, about what can we do, how do we reorganize, and from Metal to Death Metal was when I really had more hands on the levers about how to maneuver from Justice League, Metal through Justice League, and some of that architecture worked and some of it got kind of blown up because of different things that were planned and then not planned, but ultimately where we finally found ourselves with Death Metal and the kind of restructuring in its own way led to what we had hoped we would kind of get creatively, at least on the other side that exists right now. So it was a nice feeling to be able to be like, there's a lot of people that I wish hadn't gone that had to go, and I wish they weren't, and they should. I would think some people shouldn't have. There's a lot of volatility I wish didn't exist creatively when I was there in all kinds of ways, but to see it kind of land with the message of Death Metal being something that was not only embraced, but Marie was our editor, so having that be then kind of what they're doing, I almost feel like I don't have the brain space to think about DC right now until I'll go back, and then I'll be like, all right, roll up the sleeves, get in there and get dirty with it. But right now I'm more like, how do we make indie comics that are going to benefit retailers and create a more synergistic relationship, as horrible as the synergy word is, but a more beneficial and kind of mutual relationship between digital, print, all of it. That's my interest right now.
It's also tough, like you said, you got 8 books coming out on on Comixology. You probably could get 8 books printed, but for most creators, they couldn't get 8 books printed anywhere. Image won't double print. So most creators won't get 2 books going out monthly unless they're top name.
Well, that's why this was the way we had all these books in motion and staggered, and COVID just made me be like, you know what? I want to do everything. I don't want to delay 2 years, because the options were I'm just waiting for the kids to pick their cards, their Pokemon.
I think they're getting close.
All right.
I think they're getting close.
The option was, DC was great to me when COVID hit. It was like, do you want to double back down and, really, we know you're leaving, but do you want to stay? And Marvel has been, I've had conversations with them as well, and it really was like, I've been waiting for 10 years to be able to do my own stuff. Instead, I'd rather try to be bolder about it and try things that I believe in, that I think will actually make things better on the other side of this for a healthier industry. So putting out 6 books at Image or 6 books in the direct market at once, to me, would not be the best choice, even if I could get them distributed through different channels, because you're cannibalizing yourself in different ways.
Because what people don't really know about the comics industry, they think it's limitless, like that we have millions and millions of people that read comics. It's not anywhere near that. There may be like 100,000 hardcore collectors who collect a lot.
Yeah.
And then there's probably another 30 to 50,000 that are like
come in and out.
Sure. Some months they don't buy it all. Some months, you know, they follow one or two series.
There's like a whole up and down game. With
They're the ones that don't like this whole system the most, because everybody will be on the in, because they'll have they could read the book before they buy the book. Right. So they already know what they're getting.
Yeah.
The speculators want to be the only ones that know.
Right. But to flip that coin, I could be like, guess what, speculators? I'm not doing this because this isn't my bag on Substack. But it's the Substack stuff gives you control over that, and I know people, James and others, who are already doing that and announcing it, being like...
His Razor Blades book blew up like crazy.
Well, and so he'll be like, hey, I'm doing exclusive variant covers that only you get, and that with characters that are going to be big characters, that you drawn by this person, you only get them through my thing that I'm giving to retailers through this distribution channel, and retailers, you want to buy them from me and put them out in the world, like...
If I was still big into collecting, I would definitely be one of his founders.
Oh,
I'd definitely be one of the on that whole founder thing.
He's like, I mean, he's like my little brother. I mean, we're like friends 15 years. There's nobody I love in comics more than him and Kulo and Jock, and I mean, he's like my tight inner circle of family. Beyond, like, I can't say enough good things about what he has planned and what he's doing. And if like 10 years ago was kind of, I sort of hit the ground at a moment that happened to be really perfect for my skill set in terms of what I wanted to do in comics and what was available, and there were a lot of fights, but it was like I kind of Mr. Magoo right into the moment that like was right for my whole thing. This is the moment that's right for his whole thing, like last year to this, or he is the brain for everything happening in comics right now, is like his brain. And
I think it's great, like you said, if there happens to be another COVID strike where we're all locked in again, it's going to be great to get all this information and books to read online in PDF form if you can't make it to the comic shop. You know, we survived. I mean, we'll survive again. The internet made us, actually, my business better. We're healthier than we've ever been before.
And you were telling me that, and my store is too. I mean, Fourth World, I go in and things are sold out right and left. And the one downtown too, for me in my town, like you see it. People it's like baseball. Like we rediscovered our hobbies and our loves, and people found hobbies that they love immersing themselves in.
And they're making time for them, where they used to just like, I don't have time for that. I don't have time for that. I'm just going to work and work and work. And
reconnecting to things that give you joy in life, and make you, and I think comics is a huge part of that. And that's why I really believe that, like, if we went back to the way it was before without trying to make moves, like, if Substack comes along and is like, well, you can try this and give you money. I mean, I don't even see what the downside is, but I mean, even if you saw one and we're like, that's a little scary for me to leave Marvel or DC and try that and make my own stuff and have it subsidized and then put it out in print. I mean, that's the kind of thing where, like, and again, not to get too down in the weeds. Are you guys almost ready?
We're ready.
Okay, all right, give me 1 sec. And then I'll but the benefit of a plate, like so the 2 keys to understanding Substack for creators are, 3 keys are, 1, they're giving you a grant to make the books you've wanted to make and take away any kind of financial risk for you that way. And you plan on doing that book in the direct market, you know what I mean, after you do it digitally. 2, you retain the ancillary rights to that, so you can go out for TV and film and everything you want with that book, no matter, so that's great. And the third thing is that it's a sustainable system if you get it up and running. So for me, if people... I don't know if this is like bad taste or whatever to say, but we're already nearing like 2K people in the class, which is literally maybe like 10 times more than I expected to get.
Really?
So I thought maybe.
I think you'll grow to 5. I really think you'll be a 5K. Once it gets out to people who actually aren't even into comics, and they're like, wow, this is a class that I can get from this level.
I love doing it too. We're gonna have a lot of fun. But the benefit of it is, and then I'll shut up, is that that means that I'm getting the majority of $7 a month, 90% of $7 a month from 1,000 people. You're making close to $70,000 a year from your social media. That funds the books you want to make.
Right.
So I'm making double that now, but that money basically goes back to Substack to pay back the grant that they're.
Right.
But after the first year, regardless of how much we've paid back, the ratio still switches. So it's a super generous deal. So if you only pay back a portion of your grant, but you get to the end of the year, the ratio still swaps back to like 90% you. So if I have this many students, or I can add other things, like do a book the second year I'm doing it, and I have even half of the people I have now stick with it, I have a stream of income that's literally designed for me to make things I love or fund other people's books. Or
Right. It's
and
as
funnel
if you
it
went to
back in.
Patreon.
Right.
If Patreon came out and said, hey, we're going to give grants to all the comic creators to be on Patreon,
Right.
and you can do your stuff on here, you could have done it there.
The only difference is there's no grant. Like
Right.
you take this is taking away that risk. So you can
Right.
So my kids have picked out their Pokemon
Absolutely. We're going to wrap
cards.
this up. Thank you for watching. Well, stick with us. I'm going to cash them out. Ken will come in and finish up FOC, and we'll get out of here. All right. Thanks.
Oh
No,
you
I
guys,
think-
you guys
I
can
think I
keep
got a
going.
couple
I just
things.
got to get the kids out.
Absolutely.
But
It's
that's it.
getting late.
It
They're
was a
gonna-
pleasure to be here. Also. by
Oh,
the way.
thank you so much. Hey, everybody. Thank you, Scott, for coming out. We appreciate it. Welcome back.
Hey, we're back.
It took me longer to cash him out than I thought, but yeah, Scott's always a great guy. Comes by, hangs with us. Really interesting stuff about Substacks, right?
Yeah, really good. And so, I mean, if you listen to anything he had to say about it, if anybody like naysayers and stuff, I think that should alleviate a lot of people's fears, because that's the ultimate goal, is to see all the books in print.
Right.
So they're not looking to cut out comic stores or cut out the print market.
And there's a free newsletter also. Like, everybody's like, not everything's behind the paywall. There's going to be free content on all their Substacks. So you'll be getting to hear a lot of stuff. This happens every time there's change. There's people that don't like it, but
well, they did the same thing.
I'm
They
excited.
started with the direct market. Everybody was like, "Oh, it's going to fail. It's going to do this
Yeah.
and that," and it's pretty much become the mainstay now.
right.
So it's just it's something new. The industry needs to move forward and change. Otherwise,
Yep.
it's going to stagnate and it's going to go away.
If you're interested in DC's FOCs, we're not going to do it tonight, keep you on any longer. Plus, I got to go to work. So, and I still have to go to the store before then for my wife. So, yeah. We're going to, life problems. But we're going to cut it here. Go to Lunar Distribution website. They have the DC Connect on there. You can check it out yourself. They don't have a lot of books this FOC.
So you're not missing too much this week.
You're not missing a lot. I don't think there's a lot of Batman books on there, which is kind of really the only reason to read DC anymore. But, Nightwing. Batman Family pretty much is like...
Well, yeah, sure.
The new Superman's pretty good.
We just had Scott Snyder here, so we don't want to talk too much crap about DC. He's doing his own thing.
Everybody knows I'm a
Yeah,
DC fanboy. I
Yes.
want them to be great, and I want them to, like...
That's it. We want comics to be great.
Period.
Yeah.
Period.
Doesn't matter who puts them out. Just put out good ones.
Right. And I want floppies.
Yes. And
I want
that's the whole
floppies.
thing.
So,
It's all comes down
Yeah.
to that.
And you heard some of it's gonna be on Image, some of it's gonna be on Dark Horse. The stuff that's going through. I think Comixology has a deal with Dark Horse, so most of the Comixology stuff's gonna end up on Dark Horse, either trade paperback or floppies, and then other projects are gonna end up at Image. And with other,
With other
I know.
companies, but it's all going to go to print eventually.
I know Ram V has a really good relationship with either Vault, and then somebody else with Scout. Like, they may go with these other companies that they have relationships with from the past, from when they were coming up. Who knows? But it's going to make comics great. Trust us.
Yeah,
Trust us. It's going to make
definitely
comics
something
great.
to watch.
Right? And if you want to learn how to write comics, if you're interested in being a comic book writer, you should take Scott's class, because
Yeah.
$75 a year to, it would cost you $2,000 to get one semester at NYU.
Yeah, and you're getting a year's
$2,000,
worth of
probably
content.
$10,000 for one.
It'll be way more expensive.
Way more expensive than $75, I guarantee. So yeah, thanks for sticking around. Sorry about the long delay.
And thanks for Scott Snyder for stopping by.
Yeah, man, he's a good guy. All right, take care.